Hey guys, Joshua Peterson here with Peterson Electric. I got a do-it-yourself video finally for some of you dads, also for other electricians. Just wanted to show you, this is a pretty neat fixture the gentleman got at a big box store. I had him text me a picture of what he had, which was just a single chain and a dome. And then when he texted me this, I knew that this was going to take some time. For one, I used a protractor on the ceiling, and I found that it was a 15-degree pitch, so I kind of moved my little marker right there. Then I put this thing flat on the table in the canopy, and I found that canopy at 15 degrees. Okay, that would help us out on trying to figure out a little bit more of that angle. Then the other side of it is, on the other side I put up a laser, if you can see that up there in the cabinet, and that shot it this way and shot the room very level this way. And in fact, you can measure this piece and that piece of the drywall in those corners and realize that the cabinet guy did an excellent job on those cabinets. Once I established that, I was able to use just a tape measure, wherever my tape measure went, here it is. I was able to use a tape measure on the back side and find it at 15 and the front side. Keep in mind that was the customer happy, first of all, with that other height. We went an inch lower than 40 just so we could manipulate this thing. This is a really neat setup. Mine are, they usually have these little set screws in the top and you have to take this thing down 100 times. These are just self-activated, so if you push up, it automatically grabs it and chokes it. A lot of, very similar to us using a choke collar when we have conduit coming down or a rubber SO cord. So it automatically self-holds itself as you push in this spring action right here. And then you also could use 4 levels all the way around. And as we did those 4 levels, we were able to establish this way, and this way, and with the tape measure and that laser. I did need a second laser, which I normally never have to have 2 on a job, but I did put this up against that 15-degree angle, and I made sure that I hit center of that canopy straight across, because it was a round piece in here and we added 2 extra screws to hold it. And that was a pan box, so I didn't have a lot of depth to shove the wire, so I had to make sure everything was short. But I wanted to make sure that these screws were straight and these screws were straight, because I had a round mount with a square canopy. And if that square is off, guess what? This whole fixture could be as level as you want, 1-way, 2-way, and 3-way, but then the 4th way, it would be tilted this way from the table. So the other thing you could do is take a laser and shoot it straight down, find it level right here, and this might not work with the door too well, we'll try. But we could find the bottom edge, which I'm finally seeing it there, and then make sure that level is level just like that, and shoot down the whole side of that fixture. Okay, it's not a great example. I was hoping to have a flat wall, not a mold right there. But the other thing to keep in mind, guys, these are xenon bulbs. They're probably 50 watt. They run really hot. If I put my thermal gun, and you've seen my other videos, these guys run close to about 300 to 330 degrees. When it's dimming, of course, and resisting, it doesn't run as hot. But if this thing's fully bright, you're going to want to probably change it out to a G9 design with an LED dimmable bulb. You can get those on 1000bulbs.com or Amazon like everybody else does. But that is a good way to replace those, so that way they don't run as much heat and they run about 5 watts. But make sure they're dimmable. You do have to change the dimmer though. This is a resistive dimmer, and then we would be changing that out to an LED dimmer. And you have to make sure that that LED dimmer can be compatible. Even though the bulb says dimmable, it may still flicker and trim out really bad. So I get the dimmers that actually have a really slow trim out on them, and you can pick that. As you can see, at the end of all this, getting this thing level in 4 or 5 different angles, the cord has to be straight as possible. And then the other suggestion on this is, do you see how bright that is? The only suggestion I would have had for any manufacturer is to have some kind of white diffuser, especially if you go to LED. Keep in mind when you're ordering your bulbs, you're going to want to pick your color of Kelvin, and that's described. This is like the sun, 2700, and if we go cool, we're going to be in the 4700 Kelvin. Other than that, guys, hopefully that'll help you out. You can see how difficult on a 15-degree pitch ceiling like that is to get 4 things lined up in a square canopy. But at the end of the day, it looks really good. Let's just hope that she comes home and it looks the right height. Otherwise, boy, we're going to be in trouble. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.